We are doing boobies, bodybuilding, and bullshit today. Your guys' favorite.
Favey faves.
This is the fan fave. For those of you that are new here, I'm Diane Flores. This is
Amanda Glitters.
And we are the hosts of Boss Bitch Radio. Today is one of our typical monthly roundups of kind of what's going on behind the scenes, right? Like there's a lot of crazy shit going on. There's multiple businesses happening and we're both kind of involved in all of it. So we'll share some personal things and also some exciting things that have been going on and also kind of what we've learned along the way. That's really what this is about.
Maybe that's why they think it's their favorite episodes. Maybe they're actually learning something.
Yeah, because it's not real life stories.
And they don't just want to know the tea.
I think they really want to know the tea, but
Listen,
it's okay.
So do I.
Okay.
Bring it on.
So we have a lot of things to chat about today. We have obviously some personal stuff that we want to go over, stuff that's been happening like in the Goddess Body Project, which is our 12-week signature program. Then we have some competition stuff that we both have as well. And then a nice big announcement at the end. We're likely going to split this into 2 episodes. So
stay tuned.
We'll let you know when that's going to happen. And then you're going to have to stay tuned for part 2 to find out the TT on the TT. The T. All right. Let's dive in.
Oh my gosh. Listen, I am not Flipper. I am tired of diving.
She hates diving.
And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not the only one that does it.
I know. A lot of people do it. Let's lift in. How about that? Let's lift, not dive.
Okay.
Yes. Let's do some heavy lifting.
So we've got some notes, you guys. We just wanted to make sure we didn't forget anything for you. I'm going to tell you right now, nothing about this is in chronological order. So bear with me. But I feel like, what should we start with? Are we going to start with like business things?
I have some notes on that note board there.
Great.
Which is the first thing really was the Glute Goddess Challenge.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
That was really fun. So I know a lot of listeners partook in the Glute Goddess Challenge. So thank you to those that did. We had 200 people plus enrolled, which is great. That was all organic with no Facebook ads or anything, which was fantastic. So
yeah.
One thing that we discovered from that, and I don't know if you kind of remember hearing things too, but is that most of the women that went through the Glute Goddess Challenge realized that they weren't training as hard as they thought they were on their own until they did this.
That makes sense.
Right? So
I feel like what it did is like, I hear this all the time. Okay. Like somebody's like, oh, I was in the gym for an hour and a half. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing in the hour and a half? Right? Because, I want to make sure that you're seeing results, your intensity is good. And I get in their head and they tell me like, I did 4 exercises in an hour and a half. And I'm like, what were these exercises?
Yeah.
Then we dig a little bit deeper. And then now we're realizing, in reality, maybe you're just doing machines. Maybe you're afraid to go into the weight room. And I think what the Glute Goddess Challenge did was set them out of their comfort zone to be able to go in and do some of those things. And correct me if I'm wrong, because this is a long time ago. I've lived a lot of lives since then. There was videos, right?
Yes.
There was videos for every exercise. So even if you didn't know how you were doing it, you could watch the video and it would help you. I think there was also an option that you could get a modification. Okay. Yeah. So like when you have that type of support on, even if it's online, like it's above and beyond. So I feel like, hearing from all of those girls that they're like, oh, I wasn't training as hard as I thought is fantastic.
Yeah, it was really eye-opening. And this is the first time we've run a challenge kind of at this caliber because we've done them before. For over 10 years. And it was definitely more old school back then, right? Now it's like I have my own app. Everything is in an app. Everything is accessible at your fingertips. You don't have to go like open up a PDF and then click, a thing and then be transported to another thing. And like before you know it, it's 5 minutes before you can even watch a video, right? So we did that. So that was huge. And then the component that was, I think, the most impactful for everybody was the ability to communicate with me in the app.
Right.
So there's like a chat function, and I was answering questions and troubleshooting, and we had like a little private conversation going on in there. And then also in the private Facebook group, I was able to do like training audits and do lives in there every single day of the week and
every day
and all that fun stuff. So it was great. And the girls loved it. We got so much great feedback, and we got things like that we need to change for the next one. So always improving and, course correcting. So yeah, it was good. It was really good. And then after that, we rolled right into the Goddess Body Project. So there was a good portion of those girls that signed up for that,
right?
Which was fantastic. And so we had almost 60 enrolled, which is great. It's our biggest enrollment ever. In the history of how many years has Venus been around? You had to remind me. 17, not 18 like I thought. But yeah, the biggest enrollment in our history. So that's fantastic. And
yeah. And with the Goddess Body Project, because we're talking about the Glute Goddess Challenge, obviously that was all online. The Goddess Body Project, though, there's different options for that as well. You can totally do the group aspect, which makes you kind of be on your own, but you have all the information. You just had to do the things.
Correct.
Right? The other option is online, but having a one-on-one coach, right? That is going to give you a little bit more fire under your ass.
A lot more, actually. Yeah.
I mean, I feel a lot more fire now after getting a coach as well.
Which we'll talk about. That's
later.
Going to be part 2 of the video.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later. But, and then the other tier, right, which is in-studio women, which you're very lucky if you're local to Modesto. Mm-hmm. You get the in-person training. You also get the nutrition and all of that and access to everything each tier down. And it's just a great program, and it works. And I love it. It's one of my favorite ones.
It's great because it's what I'm noticing, at least this round, because again, we're always improving the experience. And so this round, we took everything into the same app, and it was very cohesive with how we were communicating with the girls in the 7-day glute challenge. So a lot of them already knew how to use it. So, clearly there was some bells and whistles and things we had to work out with technology, and I was tech support. So I apologize to those that had to deal with that. But we got it all worked out and everybody's rolling. But what I've noticed is I'm doing, almost all of the communication and coaching through the private Facebook group, the weekly live coaching calls, and then also in the app, there's a way to communicate there. But what I'm noticing is that this round particularly, and maybe because I have my hands in it a lot more from the group perspective, was a lot of beginners. Like, I was shocked at how many beginners we had.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that was a thing, because we are so forward facing. Like, I feel at least not displaying that. I feel like we're like, if I was to fall on my page and I had zero experience, I would probably be like, okay, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, this might be a bit much. And we did disclose that like fully on the page. Like, this is great if you already go to the gym, but you just don't know what to do when you get there.
Right.
Maybe you have some experience, blah, blah, blah. But I'm actually not mad at it.
No, I think it's actually really great. Mm-hmm. I feel like, in studio also that's happening as well. Mm-hmm. So even I'm training some of these women in person, and they're very new, never used a machine before, and we're breaking it down all the way down. And in reality, if I could get somebody who doesn't know anything and I can teach that person, it's going to be a much better time than if I have to retrain somebody else in something that they already thought that they know or were already told.
Yes.
I've been getting a lot of like, well, my trainer never told me any of this. And I'm like, This is why you had a hard time finding results,
Correct. And I think the other thing too that's been really nice is because there are so many online girls, most of the girls enrolled are online. I want to say 40-ish of them are online. Is having that training audit option for them to record themselves in the gym and post it in that private group. And then every Monday I go through, like this Monday, I think I went through 5 or 6 videos and I'm breaking it down. I'm like in my office, I'm getting out of my chair and I'm like, this is what she's doing wrong. And this is what she should be doing.
I've been doing that too.
It's like,
I'm like
crazy.
Hold on. Let me turn my camera around. And then I'm like in front and doing all the things.
Yeah. But it's been such a great resource that these women are just like, oh, light bulbs. And then every week I'm like, submit another video next week. It's just like we do with our one-on-one clients.
Right.
But they don't have like, obviously that access to us throughout the, like that on a personal level.
And then you get it back. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's definitely online group is more self-paced. So that is where it is the different part. But even the girls that aren't doing VIP where they're working with a coach are just like, wow, this is why I've been struggling by myself. And like, I'm not even paying for the online VIP. So I'm like, we're doing great things. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these girls are likely going to do it again or to one of the other options we're going to offer them. We're going to have a couple other options that we don't offer to the public. That's coming soon. But if you're interested, we are launching again September the 5th. So depending on when you're watching this, even if you're watching it after the fact, there should be a link somewhere for you to at least get on a wait list because we will open it up to the email wait list first. So stay tuned. That's going to be our fall edition and it'll be a great time because, little black dress.
So we've been doing other things too, right? I've launched 2 glute camps. We finished out the last one since you've seen us. I've started a new one. So I'm on 3.0 this year alone. We've had more than we've had in the last 2. Yeah. Right. Obviously, summer's coming. Everybody's like puckering the butthole. They're like, holy shit. But the biggest thing that I've been getting is just being able to show these girls that you can feel your glutes. You just have to do it this way, slow down, pay attention. And it's been huge. So I love that. I love me showing everybody how to do some butt stuff.
Yes. And that is, you're really good at breaking that down, right? There's a reason why you're the head trainer. You've been there the longest. It's because you know how to speak to each person individually. So, if you have Nancy Newbie day 1, you're not going to say the things to Nancy that you would say like to Tina.
I'm not going to tell Nancy to show me her butthole.
Right.
Tina, I'm going to ask her. Okay.
Right. But also things like, Tina has done whatever you're going to show probably 1,000 times at this point. And so your instruction to her is going to be different. You're probably going to say like, I want you to maybe go slower and use more control and do a heavier weight or whatever, where you're going to be breaking down like, this is where your feet go.
Right.
So
yeah. And I have both. I have both kind of in there. Just not a shout out because I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I have a client. She's blind.
Yeah.
She is fantastic. She's amazing. I am flabbergasted at how independent she is. And she doesn't want to be taught. Like, she's blind. I treat her just like everybody else. But everybody gets a customized feeling in that glute camp because everybody is going to be doing things differently. So I just really hands-on. It's my favorite program to run. I just love it.
Yeah. It's definitely a popular one.
Right.
Very, very popular. Your butt is selling some things. We just need to,
Speaking of that, I obviously I've had online clients. Some of them I've had 3-4 years, and so like things have been happening to their butt. And I got a disclaimer. I was told to put a disclaimer about needing to buy new clothes to house the booty.
Yeah. Because when it rearranges.
Oh, man. Yeah. She's in a different spot now.
She's in a different spot. Usually what happens is your waist gets smaller, your glutes get bigger.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing, at least in my opinion.
For sure.
But it does make finding clothes hard.
Yeah.
It is a little interesting. Yeah. But on that note, since we are talking about glute camp.
Yeah.
We are considering making this an online program. We've been talking about it in the background. I'm going to put her on the hook for it.
I didn't
right
know you were
now.
going to say it. I was not going to bring that part up.
Is it all right? We could delete it. Would you rather me? Okay.
It's fine.
Yes. And so much like our, glute challenge, like the Goddess Body Project, it would be our next signature program that we offer in person. We would bring that online. And in my vision of it, it's, Amanda is working with girls in a group setting for 6 weeks, like she does in the studio. And maybe they have their own little chat in, Trainer Eyes or whatever, and they're communicating in there, and she's delivering the program that way. And I think we would have a lot of people interested in that. So if you're one of those, DM me, not her, because she'll be like, I didn't see that.
Scary. No, I'm actually really, really excited. You told me this yesterday, right? So that was why I wasn't quite ready to let everybody know yet.
I know.
However, when I got here today, you guys know I have to drive a little bit to come over here now. But when I got here today, I told her I was already like brainstorming and how we were going to do it. So whenever I say I'm going to do something, lovely that I have somebody to hold me to it.
Yes, ma'am. Coming soon, maybe. Okay, next we have Insta Awesome. Tina competed. I don't feel like we talked about that last time.
We did not, because that happened that weekend, I believe.
Yes. So she did phenomenal. She took home, I think, 2 first place and 1 second place, maybe.
Yes.
Tina, if you're newer here or Insta Awesome, go find her on my Instagram. Insta Awesome, super easy. She's one of our longest standing clients. Short story is she's been with me off and on for the last most of the last probably 9 to 10 years. Oh, yeah. And she's going to be 57 here very soon. Yes. Completely transformed her body. Didn't start lifting really seriously until she was in her early 50s. Her and I, well, clearly she's going to be 57. So a good portion of that has been weight training.
Right.
She took a little bit of a hiatus from me when we first started. So it's been awesome, but she's completely revamped her entire body as she's grown older and has looking younger. But nonetheless, she killed it. Sandy Williamson, who's the head judge, let us both know like she needs to just go to nationals because she's
ready.
She's ready. So that's what we're going to do. We got some selfies with her, which was funny. We got a selfie with Sandy. I was like, we're going to go talk to Sandy and we're getting a fucking selfie. Okay. So just like,
hey.
Yeah. So that was fun. But yeah, she did great. And she'll be on stage here in a few short weeks again.
So I'm sorry about that. I don't remember the name of that show, but it was not just a show.
Oh, it was an expo.
It was an expo.
Yes.
That has like everything you could think of. We watched boxing. I watched an arm wrestling match. I watched strongman. I watched
they had like MMA.
People were coming down on a ribbon.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Oh yeah, they were over in the corner.
I think it's the San Jose Fit Expo.
I went over there because I wanted to see if there was a stripper pole, but there was not.
Yeah, no. Legion had that though. Because they talked to me and asked me if I wanted to do it. And I was like, I'm competing that weekend. I am not interested. Thank you. Yeah. So that was Tina's show. Then we had a fashion show. I can't even believe all of this has happened in the last 30 days. It's insane to me.
Listen,
we lived 18 lives in the last 30 days.
100 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. The fashion show was great. So we partnered with one of my clients who has a business. Her name is Mena. So Mena & Co. is her salon in Modesto. And essentially our clients who have gone through the Goddess Body Project and had these great transformations were the models for the fashion show. And we had women in their 30s all the way into Dorothy's 62, 63. So across all ages, with most of them being in their late 40s and in their 50s.
Yes.
Which was awesome. And that, I feel like that experience or that
I just got the chills
I did
again
too.
A little bit.
I know. Was such I was not expecting to feel how I felt.
Right.
It was super emotional. I read little blurbs on every girl and we crushed it in terms of the flow.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you feel about it?
It was so fantastic. Let me tell you a little bit story. So obviously there was a ton of people. It sold out. There was not a seat left in the house. The show was amazing, but the feeling of the show, I'm going to tell you from not our perspective, I had a new client come in the other day.
Mm.
Her name was Holly. She's like, all I knew was watching you guys up there. I just wanted to feel like that. I wanted to be like that. So here I am. She came in. She's done her 2 sessions at the studio. She's like, I love it. This is amazing. She's like, I'm going to tell my friends. And then she's like, already so invested. She's like, I have my second one, but I'm going to Europe. I'll be back after that.
I love that.
And I said, okay, I'll see you in June.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And she's not a young woman.
Mhm.
Okay. She's definitely older, but I feel like the difference in age range that we had in the fashion show was
eye-opening.
Yes.
For a lot of these women.
Yes.
And I say that because after the fashion show, I got the chills again.
I-
After we did it at a bar downtown. So shout out to the boardroom in Roman. So if you're in Modesto, like they let us use that. This was all for a good cause. So we did it for a charity, which was a charity that Mena picked out, which was Casas, I believe. And so, you know, the part of the proceeds went to that, and she has a little boutique. And so the girls were demonstrating or showing off
the fashion
from her boutique.
Modeling the fashion.
There you go. I can't find the right words. But after the show, of course, I hung out, and like people that I did not know were coming up to me, and they were just like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. I can't believe this. What you're doing is great. Like you guys are, you know, praising. And I was like so overwhelmed by that.
Yeah.
Like in the best way. But I left there and I was just like, wow, I did not expect to feel all the feelings. I was just like, we're doing this cool thing. But like I made the little intro video and that was super fun. And
I mean,
it was great.
They talked to Nicole. They said, what is your favorite thing about Venus?
Yes.
And she was just like, I mean, not to shout me out, but she just said like, I was the biggest impact on her because obviously I train her the most.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's really amazing to hear things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had my birthday too. So obviously I've had a lot of like very amazing messages and things like that. And that was like a little bit of a taste. And then the birthday was like a little bit more. And I was just like, you know what? Wow. This tribe, these people, you know, sometimes you forget how important you are to somebody else. So this is just my disclaimer to you. If there's somebody that's really important to you or they've made a change in your life and you haven't told them in a while, let them know. Because even though you think they know, they don't know. They forget.
We forget.
Okay. So I'm not saying like beat a dead horse, right? I'm just saying like something casual in between can really change somebody's day and it can change their movements, right? Say maybe I was feeling down and I've gotten all of this love in the last couple of weeks and it's changed my trajectory.
Right.
Completely.
Right. It's important. I think you know, we take that for granted.
Yeah.
A lot and just forget to acknowledge people because we just think like, oh, they know, like it's going to be, you know, they don't need to hear it from me. Like what does my opinion or what I have to say count? But it really, really counts because especially like, I'm not saying especially for us, but especially because we come in contact with so many humans every day, whether it's in person, whether it's online DMs, like I'm always answering questions. Like I still answer all my stuff, right? Like I'm very like particular about doing that and my comments and all that fun stuff. And we are in contact with so many humans. And a lot of times, you know, we're tagged and we hear all these great things. And then it could take like one person, one troll, one stupid YouTube comment, one client that had different expectations, right? That literally, like, for me personally, like, I'm a lot better.
Right.
I'm totally over it with the trolls. But when it comes to anything beside that, it literally like takes the wind out of my sails sometimes still.
Yeah.
It is
personal to us.
Yeah. Because it's a very personal service that we are providing. And I know we both take it very seriously and we want to make sure like expectations are met. And so it can be disheartening. Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often, but still nonetheless, tell your people it's good for them to hear.
Yeah. I mean, even this weekend, right? This past weekend, I did a lot of things that we'll talk about later, but just to kind of stay on topic with what we've been talking about now is my competitor, Tessa, competed on Saturday. And you know, she's just been really great through her whole prep. She's had a really great attitude. You know, whenever she feels the type of way, she expresses it. And we work together like to work it on it. But overall, this whole time, she's been such a gem, right? And I'm like, you're awesome, you're great. I go to watch this show. You know, I drove an hour and a half. I had a limited amount of time, so I only got to see prejudging. But, you know, I've met her family. I got to meet her husband that day. And he was also a fucking gem, okay? Like, I came in, he hugs me. He's like, you're the Coach Glitter that's been doing everything for my wife.
Aww.
And he's like, it's literally changed our lives. We're so close and everything just kind of fell into place and we are so happy right now.
That's amazing.
And I was just like, I'm getting chills again.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh, like, thanks, you're welcome. Like, I just told her what to do.
Yeah. But
in reality, you know, it's when you have a goal and you're working towards it, you change things, and it also changes dynamics in other places. You know, she fucking crushed it. It was her first show ever, which is why I absolutely had to be there, even though it was limited. She got, what did she do? She got 3 first place, a second place,
great.
and she took 2 overalls.
Amazing.
And I was just like, holy shit.
High five.
Holy shit.
That's awesome.
And, you know, it just also being around shows. How has that been making you feel?
Lots of ways.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of ways, which we're going to talk about that. But let's wrap up
what we were talking about.
Yeah. So just the fashion show, you know, just to wrap that up too, we're going to be doing that again in October.
Oh.
So that one will be coming back around. We're just starting the preparation for that. So if you're in the Venus world and you are in the Goddess Body Project, or you've been a client of ours for a while, you know, we might be coming for you, or if you're interested, let us know.
Poke, poke.
We know what we did wrong, what we want to fix, you know, all those things. And we'll likely be doing it for the Women's Haven this time.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
for
that
us.
is definitely one that is near and dear to my heart. So I believe that's what we'll be doing for the next one. So great time. And then the other last little bit of things that had happened is we did a really big client photo shoot. So we try to do this once a year. Super fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah.
It was like 20, 25 ladies in the studio. We had all the trainers there. We had a photographer there. You know, it was just a time. They still got a workout in. Don't think it was a party. Okay. We still made them work out. But it was kind of nice. You know, we're all kind of in Venus garb. We're all able to like kind of look a little bit cute, you know, because usually my 5 a.m.ers are barely like
rubbing crust out of their eyes.
Yes. And then my 6 p.m.ers are ready to take a nap on the leg press. So it was really nice to kind of get in there. We had a great time. Everybody played off of everybody. I love our little spot.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. Again, this is one thing that we try to do every year. I think we do it last year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we did. And it's, you know, it's a way for us to showcase our clients on every channel we can, right? Like on Instagram, Facebook, social media, our websites, email, all of that fun stuff. Because I think a lot of the misconception with what we do is because we compete, they think like, oh, everybody's like really advanced and their competitors there. And I'm like, actually, these are the humans that come here.
Yeah.
And as you can see, there's a variety of ages, you know, abilities, shapes, sizes,
injuries,
you know, all the things.
Yeah.
And the women in our marketing are literally our clients. Like they come.
It's not staged.
It's not staged. It's not like we paid some extras to be there. So,
No.
So it's really cool. It's a fun time. And I think it's another great way for them to bond and know that they're this like special little group of people that got invited to be in the photo shoot because, you know, one of several reasons we've seen a tremendous transformation in their mindset or how they interact with us, their confidence, their, you know, if they've had like a big health change and body transformation that way, longevity, consistency,
strength,
just how they are in the community, you know, all the things, just a little bit of everything. And it's fun. It's really fun. I love it. This part, we're going to dive more into some personal things that are going on. So if you're curious, if you care, I don't know why we're so interesting to some folks, but I had a pellet put in. I had a testosterone pellet put in.
Oh, how's your butt?
It's fine now. Just a little bit of a situation. I don't want to freak anybody out, but I was just getting very lackadaisical with my testosterone shots, and that's not normal for me. And I was just feeling like crap. And so, long story short, I had a testosterone pellet put in. Game changer. Don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I'm not fussing with creams or any of that, which I don't do. Wasn't doing anyways, but I don't have to deal with the shot. Did I take it? Did I do it? What day was it last time? Oh, I was traveling. Do I need to pack it? Like, I don't do any of that. It's fantastic. So I've been feeling a lot better.
That's good.
Yes.
I'm in process to get labs pulled. I haven't had labs pulled in a minute. So we're going to see what kind of dumpster fire I might be brewing.
Yeah. Well, which kind of leads us into essentially what we're doing right now with our own health and fitness goals. And I think,
oh, wow, that was fast.
I know we're taking a hard right.
Holy
We're taking a hard right. So brace yourself, audience. Okay. So with that, the Goddess Body Project is in session right now. We're at about 5 weeks. And I decided when they started that I was going to start being more proactive with all the things, because the reality of it is, and you can share what you want about your situation. But for me, I have been working way more and putting my self-care on the back burner. And I feel like this was a trend from last year, and I haven't really caught my footing with that. Okay. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all in. I'm going to post my stuff in the group and be more active with like sharing my stuff with those girls. And I have been. However, coaches need coaches. And I know that, and I haven't had a coach for a minute. And I decided that I needed more accountability, and I'm not scared of you, so I wasn't going to make you do it.
No.
And so I went ahead and signed back up with Nikki. So that's been a new thing. Yeah, Fit to Nick. So she's on her own now, and I'm doing that, which we're going to go a little bit more into. But how about Coach Glitter?
How about me?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, we're in process to getting hormones, drawn. Obviously, body's been feeling a little bit different. I know, like, for the longest time, I was on TRT and, thyroid medication and things like that because I am a dumpster fire most of the time. Well, I've been neglecting myself. I've been working a lot. It's been very difficult for the last, I would say, I hate saying this, but probably like 6 months to feel consistent.
Same.
To feel consistent, right? And so, like, same thing with you. I was like, okay, the Goddess Body Project girls are going to be in session. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start doing, dipping the toe, doing the things, making sure I'm moving my body, figuring that out. So, I started eating better. I started eating out less. Obviously very loosey-goosey. I wasn't tracking foods. I was eating intentionally, which was fine, until I was like, okay, obviously I'm not scared of myself.
Right.
Because nobody's going to be mad at me if I don't do something. Except I should be mad at me for not doing something for me, right? I wasn't getting my nails done. I let all of that go by the wayside because I'm like, it takes too much time. I have to do other things.
Right.
I can't work out today. I work all day. No, we're not doing that anymore. Right. So over the last, 4 or 5 weeks, I've been getting a little bit more consistent. So this is to tell you, don't feel like you have to go all in right in the beginning. Okay. So
soft start,
but don't let it go 6 months. Okay.
Right.
I was working on that, but we are getting a coach.
Yeah.
Coaches need coaches.
Coaches need coaches.
Who do you think I'm afraid of?
I don't know why you'd be afraid of me, but
I seriously see you as two people, right?
You because you have to compartmentalize.
You're my best friend right here, and then you're like disappointed coach sometimes, and I'm like, damn.
Yes, that's
damn.
I did the little hat switch, right? Like coach's hat on. Bessie's hat on.
She uses the I love you hands when I'm doing good, and then she uses the middle finger when I'm no.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No.
But no, in all honesty, I was fighting her tooth and nail.
She was.
To be like, okay, go ahead. Let's do it. And then she really didn't let me have a decision.
That's not true.
I mean, the peer pressure from you and little brother.
Oh God. I knew you were going to throw him under the bus.
I'm
So
gonna.
I kind of put him on that.
I know you did. I was like, you
little assholes.
sneaky fuckers right now. Okay.
Yes. Because he's such a good, like my youngest son is such a good listener, and he really like tries to get it from your perspective and like ask certain questions that like make you think.
Yeah.
Am I right?
100%. And like, I was taking him with me home the other day, and it's like an hour drive. It was probably a little bit more because it was nighttime. But we talked the whole way, and he was like in my ear saying all the right things. And I was like, I know. And he's like, well, what's your concern? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, like
my kids should be a therapist.
Everybody's concern is that they're gonna fail, right? Well, listen, you don't fail unless you quit, right? Nobody's quitting. So I'm just gonna keep trying, right? So your girl got a coach. Her name is Coach D.
That would be
the
me.
boss bitch. Okay. And we've already done 2 check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going great. We're starting very slow. You know, even though like as a person of my caliber that can work out, she didn't tell me to go work out 6 days a week.
No.
Because she knows I'm going to be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready for
It's
that.
not setting you up for success.
No, I would feel like I was a failure every week because
Right.
I would be like, oh, I got 4. Oh, I got 3. Oh,
Right.
And then it's like to you, like, why didn't I make time? Well,
Mhm.
I haven't set myself up for that much movement and that much time away from other things yet.
Correct.
So I'm excited. You know, we've done 2 check-ins. Everything's going pretty well.
Mhm.
I'm feeling really good. I'm still working on getting things, you know, like really on point.
Consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like my food, she's pretty good. Although I just had my birthday. Okay. So that was overall, I did
A lot better than usual.
so good. I could have jumped my ass right in a Cinnabon. Okay. Because one of my birthday cards came with a Cinnabon, and my clients are so amazing. She says, I think you're in prep right now, but save this for later.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I'm not really in prep, but you're correct. I should save this for later.
Right.
So with anybody, you need to have a deadline.
Oh boy, here we go.
At least for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's like how we are. If I don't have a deadline, I'll just lollygag all the way to wherever, you know?
I feel like that's most people.
Correct. So do you want to tell the folks about your idea?
Well, my idea was that because here's the thing. You know, that's my favorite thing. Here's the thing is you and I have done a lot of like self work, right? Like in what I mean by that is we have some things coming up this summer, some things we're going to do. We're going to be scantily clad. You know, we try to wear as the least amount of clothing as possible in this summer. And we are pretty comfortable with ourselves.
Any size,
in
honestly.
Any form.
If you know me and you've followed me, I used to be 280 pounds, you guys. Yeah. Any size that I am now is always pretty comfortable.
Right. And even though like in our heads, we know like, oh, I was once this shredded, and anything not as shredded as that means I'm out of shape. Like this is a stupid thing that happens to competitors, I feel like. And we're stupid.
Even anybody that's lost the most amount of weight they've ever lost before.
And they see their bodies differently.
All you want to do is just get back to that tiny weight. And for us, that is not the goal.
No.
We want to have muscle. We want to have curves. So over the years, you know, we fluctuated all the way.
For sure.
And it's done our bodies good.
Yeah. I mean, we've kept on a decent amount of muscle too. So with that being said, my point being is that if we just say, oh, we have some things this summer, you know, I want to tighten up, but we don't like, I don't have a coach and you just kind of do your own thing. Like the likelihood of us actually adhering and being like on track with our stuff is just like everybody else.
You know what usually happens? I'm going to tell you this right now. I usually do really good until about a week or 2 before said event.
Right.
And then I fuck it all up right before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
why am
we're
I
not going to do that. Okay. Right. Don't want to do that.
And, you know, we've been talking about, and like Amanda said at the start, she did mention something along the lines of like, how has going to all these shows made you feel? Right. Yeah. Like, and I will be transparent. It makes me feel nothing. Okay. I say that in the nicest way possible, but it does not, especially when I'm backstage, and a lot of times I'm backstage because if I'm with an athlete, I have a backstage pass most of the time. And so I'm backstage and I'm listening to the conversations that these competitors are having. I'm watching their behaviors back there. I'm observing it from a completely different lens.
Correct.
So at this, for example, last show with Tina, I'm seeing girls back there who are already fistfuls of candy and they can't stop, right? They're in these like behaviors that I know, because I've been there, are very in line with disordered eating.
Correct.
After a show, right? And they're fixated on it and that's all they're talking about. And like, none of that sounds like fun to me anymore. Okay, so that part of it, no. The glitz, the glam, the getting on stage, the doing that part, my favorite.
Love that.
Our favorite part.
Love that.
So after talking to some friends in the industry who have done some other things outside of competing, Jackie Gill is one of them. Renee Fit, I've interviewed her for the podcast. She's 72.
Yeah.
Like she's done that. They've done angels, competition, bikinis, fashion shows. And I did some research and then I decided to put the bug in her ear. And I thought, this will be something really fun we can do. We can document the process. So at least I know that I'm plan on documenting it as much as I can, sharing it on the podcast, and also not feeling like I have to be shredded. So if you watch their shows, they're not shredded. Some of them are, some of them just came off of shows. Some of them are improvement season, and some of them have never competed ever. It's more for fun. It's really just to like set a goal and have a thing to do. And that was really what I approached Amanda on. And I said, like, let's set a goal. Let's do this thing. We'll do it together. And let's just know we're not getting to 127 pounds for her. Right. And I'm not getting to 135, like, which is my usual stage weight. Right. We're going to do this in a manner that makes sure that we aren't getting obsessive and like we're not triggering any of those things that we've worked hard to like avoid. The biggest
thing that you said to me, then I was like, all right, is we're not eating cod.
No.
And I like had this boulder come off of my chest and I was like, okay,
no,
I can do it.
Right. You know, and my goal with it really is, and the only thing that, you know, is going to be a little bit different for us, is that's not bad, it's just different, is that with the fashion show, you are modeling their competition bikinis.
Right.
And for me, being in the industry, and this is my only thing where I'm like, that's going to feel a little off for us, is when you put on one of those bikinis and you know you're not shredded, it just almost feels like a bit of a disconnect in your brain, at least for me. And that's just something we're going to have to work around and know that like, this isn't what it's about. And we're going to have fun and, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's really great because obviously we know that you've retired, right?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think I've retired yet. However, there's nothing in me that wants to go that far this year.
Right.
Is it next year? I don't know. Is it the year after? Maybe. Maybe when I turn 40. Who fucking knows, you know? But the longer I train, the bigger I get, the more better I'm going to look on stage. But I think this is a really great in-betweener. You know, we made some scale goals. And the funny thing is I was showing somebody my last show picture versus the scale goal picture. It was a 20-pound difference. And
so you mean your current scale goal right now?
No, from like being on stage.
Oh, got you.
To like, remember we were like, find a picture when you were that scale weight and that's what you want to weigh, right? So I found that picture and I was just happened to show somebody today because we were talking about it. And she goes, well, you're almost there right there, huh? And I go, no, it's 20 pounds.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a 20-pound difference between getting on stage and doing this fashion show. And all of that makes me feel like this is going to be a healthy experience and not something that I'm going to, you know, flip a light switch and run too far with.
Right. So what you're saying is basically when you're on stage and your stage weight, like compared to what we are sort of projecting for you at the fashion show.
That would look fantastic.
That would look great, right?
Yes.
Is about a 20-pound difference. Correct, right? And so for me, that's along the same lines. Like for me to be shredded for a show, to do a bikini pro show, I would probably need to be about 127, 128 pounds.
That's crazy.
That's gross. That's
I
gross
feel the same
for
way.
me. Okay.
I feel the same way about that.
Because
okay?
I've only done that one other time. No, didn't even get to 127. I got to 129. And that was in 2014 when I did my first bikini show.
You have to have so much more muscle on you now.
Oh,
There's
God.
no way.
My glutes alone in the pictures from then until like my last show when I was like 1 week out, my glutes are like twice the size.
Correct.
So there's no, I would have to lose so much muscle and I'm just not interested in doing that either.
No.
So it's more or less like, for me, I want to probably get to about 148. If I get to 145, that's definitely going to be a push.
Yes.
That I don't know I'm really wanting to do, but
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out as we go. But we're not going to have time to do
all the things
we want to talk about.
I know. Well, since we're on the topic, I just want you to know that it's official, by the way. So this is why we're letting you know, okay? It's official. This is the part of the merch that they send you. I got some socks as well. But so October, we're doing the fashion show in Vegas at Olympia. So if you guys are nearby or you're in town for Olympia, make some time for the fashion show.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. And I think it's going to be a great experience. And I think if we share along the way, it'll also be inspiring to others.
Yeah.
Maybe those of you that are listening, I know I'm going to interview Kara, who is one of the owners. I believe they're twin sisters that own Angels Competitions Bikinis. I will be interviewing Kara in just a couple weeks, talking more about it, what it entails, and really getting just a full scope of their mission with it. So I'm stoked about that.
If you wanted to do Olympia, it's sold out.
Sorry.
I'm
taking the last spot apparently. So that's on the horizon, and we'll keep you guys posted along the way. I'm just going to give you, because we have a couple minutes, we have to step into a meeting right now. But, for me, my training is going to be 3 to 4 days a week. And right now it's 3 lower body days and 1 upper body day every other week. So I'm not training upper body every week, which is fantastic. And then my cardio right now is, I want to say it's 3 days of like 25 minutes, and everything will ramp up. My diet, I have been very specific where I was like, I'm not tracking macros, and I will do a meal plan, but I do need some flexibility. And also that's going to be the place where I'm going to have to auto adjust a little bit and really ask myself what I'm willing to sacrifice.
Right. And then I think just to be outwardly open with that is the point of this, right? Mm-hmm. We want to show that we can go to this length without having to go to competitor lengths.
Yes, I am not doing 2 days of cardio.
Please no.
I will likely just my cardio, I'm doing a lot of steps and things like that. So it's really I told Amanda, I said, she wanted to run the other day. Right. And you guys know, generally as a consensus, running isn't my favorite form of exercise
to run.
If you want to keep muscle. Right. But she's telling me I felt like running. I felt like running.
I don't think it's going to last very long.
And I was like,
but it kind of felt nice.
You're not in an extreme deficit, right? Mm-hmm. We're at the beginning of this process. If your joints feel good, everything feels good, you want to run, by all means, throw in a run. I wouldn't want you doing it 4 days a week.
No.
But if you're sprinkling it in for some enjoyment, perfect.
So if we're bringing that up, I've got 3 days a week for training right now. Obviously, I'm going to want to put 4 days at least coming up in the future. And then I have 3 days of cardio. That's 20 minutes. It could be the Peloton, the Stairmaster, or, I just kind of slipped a run in there,
You did. And it was fine. And then for you, we're not starting your calories off super low. I'm telling you, don't get tempted to slice them even more, right? We're going to do this methodically. And if we are on track and on pace for that goal with our number, then I'm not going to just do anything with her diet that's erratic or, anything of that nature. So
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's going to be fantastic.
Thanks.
All right. Well, anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so.
We have some other big announcements, but we're going to have to save that for another podcast because some really exciting stuff and some exciting stories, but we have to cut it short. So stay tuned for the next episode. And again, thank you for listening. If you're new here, I would love it if you'd subscribe. If you want to come find us over on Instagram. Please do that. Diane Flores, IFBB Pro.
Amanda Glitters.
There's some underscores and shit in there.
There's a link below. Go click all the links.
Click all the links.
Use them all.
And on the next time we're together, we'll share some other fun stuff. But until next time.
Give us a 5-star rating.
That too. Bye.
Bye.